another part of history that I do, being in education and training, and being called upon to give some talks on history. My views and my thoughts on Australia as a country, when the British came and planted the flag in Botany Bay, Sydney Cove, Captain Arthur Phillip, Captain Cook, they did see Aboriginal people, but they claimed once they got back to England that Australia was an empty land, and they used the term terra nullius, which means that, empty land. But their own people recorded in their diaries that they'd seen dark-skinned people and they'd built fires, and so that sort of contradicts it being an empty land. But what they couldn't see, they wrote about Aboriginal people being people that just walked through the land but didn't do anything. They didn't create roads, they didn't create buildings, they didn't have water piped on, they didn't grow crops. So what actually did they do? The British couldn't see the infrastructure that was there for Aboriginal people. They couldn't understand how the people operated. And our people operated by coming from their own country areas, and we talk about our country, which is our language groups. There's 52 language groups within Australia, but within those groups, I come from Moora, which is a town an hour away, west of Wongan Hills, and our people there, our name for our country is Yuit, Y-U-A-T or Y-U-E-D, and it's the Yuit people. We stretch from Jurien Bay up to Leeming, down to Gingin and across here to Wongan Hills. We are one of 14 groups of Noongar, and they're all in the farming areas, Central Midlands, Eastern Wheat Belt, and the Mortlock area, which is Gamalling and so on. And it goes right down to the Great Southern, past the city, which is Wajak, right down to the Great Southern of Esperance and Albany. And we've all got our different names. I know some of them. Busselton Bunbury is Wardandi. It's a group right down the coast called Naju. Up in our area is Merredin, which is called Naji Naji. Northern, which is our biggest town in the Central Wheat Belt, which is Balladong. And then, of course, us, the Yuit people. In the historical side of it, I talk about Aboriginal people having their own law, LORE law, versus LAW law. And you've got the lawmen and women, and especially the men. They're the holders of the law. If you break the rules, you face a spear. It was very swift, and they kept their country safe. Other Aboriginal people couldn't just wander in, they had to be welcomed in, and they were assured of safe passage through another person's country. But they went home again. And then you have, which is guarded, your ochre pits, your corroboree grounds, your bora grounds, where corroborees are performed, your bush food, your bush medicine, and your water holes, which is yours, and they're safeguarded. You also had the tracks for the dreaming tracks, and it was for women and girls. Women delivered the babies, the men did the ceremonies for the boys in initiations, which were held, and then you come combined to an area where the whole family joins in. And so you had your pathways, which is what training does. It has its pathways in learning. Then you have your teachers. So children were taught. Aboriginal children are visual learners, and they're still visual learners today. And our roles as Aboriginal educators is to tell teachers, or ask teachers, to let them have a go, show them the way and let them have a go. And it doesn't matter if they speak their languages. In ours is Noongar language, Aboriginal English and Standard Australian English. We all spoke that way. And we are now speakers equal to others in Standard Australian English. But we don't stop our children from doing what is culturally theirs and not take that away from them. The grandparents were told not to speak our languages, but they weren't educated like our kids have got a top-class education in Australia, and it's up to us to assist. And so everything that modern man has, Aboriginal people had. They had the structures there, but nobody could see those structures. Nobody could see those structures because they were oral and verbal. So the British didn't have an idea about it. It's not to say Aboriginal people were not educated, because they were educated in their way.